Hello, my name is Erin Umpstead. I teach senior English at Holt High School. It's about 15 minutes south of capital Lansing, Michigan, and I love it.
My name is Kevin English. I teach 9th and 10th grade English at Wayne Memorial High School in Wayne, Michigan. Kind of an urban school with about 16 to 1,700 students. Um, so, Erin, how has doing advocacy work changed how you think about yourself as a teacher?
Well, I've always been one of those gung-ho teachers. I love my job. It's always what I've wanted to do. I've never wanted to do anything else but teach. Being an advocate and working through these advocacy action plans has kept me excited about it. I don't find myself getting mired in contract negotiations or these kids can't write, because I know that's not true. So it's just really kept me, I feel, active, looking forward, and excited.
I'd say I think I feel the same level of excitement too. I think having had a chance for us to sit down and brainstorm and work together as a group, doing this advocacy work, it gave me a chance to think about like the things I can actually control as a teacher and what I can't. And that's been really powerful. And that if I can't control it, then I shouldn't spend my time worrying about it, and then to focus my attention on the things that I can't. And that has been rewarding too.
Nice, nice. I really like that. Focus on what you can do. Let the other stuff slide. There you go. Nice. Good answer. So I was wondering also from you, what have you done to develop allies in your group?
One of the things that I think my colleague and I have thought a lot about was, what questions do we have, and how do those questions connect to the other people in our building? How do we all need kind of similar answers, and how can we bring those questions together? So we've worked to establish allies and relationships with the other teachers across departments, to bring them on board to kind of raise, this question, or our question in particular, about what counts as data and assessment, to see how are they thinking about data and assessment, and how do us sharing similar students and working in a similar context, how do those connect, and how can we work together? I think additionally we've worked to inquire and share the inquiry a little bit with our own administrators. Here are the things that we're curious about, or here are our professional questions that we need answers to. Can we work together on this, or can this be part of where the direction that the school will head in? What about you?
Well, I'm all about allies. My project is to help seniors become leaders in their own school, and I chose, when I thought of this action project, I chose teachers that are in charge of support classes. So I have seniors that have won enough at the game of school in order to almost be there, and I wanted to pair them with students who might not feel like they'll ever get there. So specifically, my students work with reading and writing literacy lab students at the 8th grade level. They work with academic support students at the 10th and 11th grade level, and then English language learners, and I think those are 9 through 12. So I made allies of those teachers. I'm like, hey, what can we do for you? And with your students, what do they need? So it just became a really natural alliance in that your students have a need, my students have a need, have those fit. I'm very close with my I have a healthy relationship with my administrator, so I'm talking it all up for her. She's been in to observe, and unfortunately, it was the first time, and it was really not the best time. But then she and I have had conversations about how it can be, and I've heard her tell other people about my project too. So at the last time when I presented, I also had a parent from Holt there, and she offered her alliance. So allies are everywhere. You just got to tell your story.
I think what I like most about your work is that there's an emphasis on we're all in this together, and that it's mutually beneficial. It's not just me pursuing my own interests, but I can help you and you can help me.
Right. Well, thank you, because I am really all about building alliances, building community, and getting through it together, thriving through it together. Well, what I would like to know from you is, my last question here for you is, what would you want to tell a story tell a teacher who's just starting, to come into this action project and want to know what they can do?
I think what's hard for a lot of teachers is thinking about or being willing to embrace this idea that maybe our jobs are political, our jobs can be controversial, and that sometimes we have to make people feel uncomfortable, and that if we start asking questions, if we start wondering, and not just staying isolated in our classroom, that can strike people as odd, or strike people that we're being rebel robbers, rather than people who kind of have the best interests of students in mind. And so I would say to focus maybe first on starting to ask questions. What is something that you want to change? And again, going back to the idea of like, what is something that's actually possible and feasible? And then start thinking about how you can frame those questions in a way that it doesn't offend, it doesn't challenge, but brings other people together. What about you?
That's great advice. So what he said. And I kind of want to give advice on the way that I live my life, one day at a time. I alluded to it earlier, but my first whack at the action project this year, I did not plan out well at all. So it turns out you need to plan well. You need to know what your subject is. Kathy says to be savvy, and I would definitely recommend that. So know what you're getting into, know what it takes, plan. Things like just which classroom you go to have the students meet in order for the seniors to meet the other students is a big deal, and I never even thought of that. So even just the minute things, don't overplan. There's that fine line. Take it a day at a time and ask for feedback from the people you're trying to help, in my case, students.
I think what I like most about your story too is this idea that even if things don't go as planned, right, you stay optimistic and then you keep working toward it, that you kind of never forget about your goal and what it is that you want to change to make happen.
Well, it's very me that my first time was a horrible flop, and my advisor or my administrator was there to observe me as my official observation. But what would I have to talk about if it had been a smash success? So, well, terrific to talk about. I'm excited about your project, and I can't wait to keep hearing about it.
Yeah.